This is community check setup for set number 9 in the training project. Go to T1, translation team 1, and there's our community check setup icon, yellow. All right, first step is to play the yellow button. This is the first passage, and so let's play that. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and not in your own understanding. In everything you do, look to him, and he will make your path straight. All right, play button is dark blue, optional, and now we have a yellow flag indicating this is our next step. The idea of planting flags is the way we think about putting questions at a certain location within the passage. And the FCBH methodology here is to put some general questions both at the beginning and at the very end of the passage. And then in the body of the passage to place detailed questions at strategic places to find out what the listeners understand from what they heard up to that point. And so it's a good way to find out about their understanding of key terms that were used or difficult passages, difficult phrases. And so this is the division between some general questions that come at the beginning and at the end, and then detailed questions that you can place in the body. And the way this will work during the community check is after the retell portion, where they've heard this passage 2 or 3 times and then retold it in their own words, recording that in the render system. It moves into the question and response section. And so they've already heard this a few times, and now so when we ask a general question at the beginning of the passage, it's actually, you can presume that they've heard this passage a couple of times, and so they know its content. All right, just so you know, I'm going to be following the lesson plan in general. So here's community check setup starting at 226. And so you can follow along as well. I'll be doing it in general. The lesson plan has a lot of detail to guide the trainer in, first of all, teaching the participants how to create good questions, open questions that invite dialogue and not closed ones that yield a yes or no or very short response. After that, it gets into the details of planting flags, creating questions, and again, think about the fact that these questions will be formed in the mother tongue. And that allows for the community check itself to be conducted entirely in the mother tongue. And so it'll be led by the translators themselves. Everything will be done in the mother tongue. And so these questions, you're trying to get them to understand the questions and then craft those questions in their mother tongue. Okay, so I'll go back to render. Let's start by planting our first flag at the very beginning of the passage. So grab the cursor, move it to the beginning, and click the yellow flag. Now you'll notice a blue dot appears and a blue tab at the bottom and a recorder. So we're going to record the first question. In the lesson plan, page 242, the first question reads like this. Does this sound like something that really happened or not? Or you could say it this way. Does this sound like a true story? The goal of this question is to find out if the words used by the translator are appropriate for what is a real story. So I'm just going to record this in English for demonstration purposes, but understand that we're getting to the point in the workshop and throughout the scope of this project to have the teams crafting these questions in their mother tongue. But I'll do it here in English just for demonstration purposes. Does this sound like something that really happened or not? Then you can play to verify it's correct. Does this sound like something that really happened or not? Okay. Then I'm ready to add the next question on this flag. If I hit submit, that means I'm going to finish this flag and be ready to move on to another flag. So don't hit submit until you're finished with a flag. So we want to ask 3 general questions here at the beginning. So I'll hit the big plus on the right to create a new question. Notice now that I have 2 blue dots and 2 blue tabs. Let's record the second question. How do you feel about the way the voice is used in our language? All right, and now for the third question. What do you think all people, young and old, will think about this story? Whoops. What do you think all people, young and old, will think about this story? All right, those are the first 3 general questions asked at the beginning. So I'll submit to finish this flag. All right, now I'm in a position to find a location to plant the next flag. I'm just going to go sequentially from the beginning, then through the detailed questions in the body, and then the general questions at the very end. So I'm going to play my passage and stop at a place just after some material that I want to ask questions about. Here we go.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and not in your own understanding.
All right, so I want to ask some questions about the content here, especially about difficult or important words or key terms. And so I've stopped my cursor at a good place, and then I'll plant my flag there. All right, here's my first question. What do you think it means to trust with all your heart? All right, I'm ready to add another question. Here we go. In what ways might a person trust in their own understanding? Okay, once I've created the questions for this section, I'll hit submit and finish that flag. So what's going to happen in practice is that the render system will have the mother tongue translators play this first portion of the passage up to this flag. Then the system will allow them to play a question and then be in a position to record its response. All right, and you'll see that when we get to the community check section. All right, now I'm going to play my passage to find the next place that I want to stop.
In everything you do, look to him, and he will make your path straight.
All right, I do have some questions from this portion. I'm at the end, so I'm just going to plant my flag right here at the end. Then I'll start with the questions that pertain to this portion of the passage, and then add the questions that go at the end, the general ones. All right, here we go. I want to play this again so I can hear it. I can do that without disturbing the flag. Here we go.
In everything you do, look to him, and he will make your path straight.
Tell me what you think it means to look to God, as mentioned in this passage. Let me show you what this plus button does. This can add another piece to this current question. So let's play this question. Tell me what you think it means to look to God, as mentioned in this passage. I could add another piece to this question if I felt like it would help to bring out the right answer from the participant. So that's what this plus is for. If I see an opportunity to add a second piece, I'll do that. All right, let me play my passage up here. I think I've got one more question.
In everything you do, look to him, and he will make your path straight.
Okay, I want to add another question. What do you think it means that God would make your path straight? All right, I'll add another piece. And have you ever experienced anything like that in your own life? All right, so that completes the detailed questions for the content of the passage. Now I'm just going to continue on this flag to add my general questions. And so they start in the lesson plan on page 253. Here we go. This story ends here, and here are some general questions about the whole story. For you, what's an important lesson taught in this story? That was question number 1 at the end. Now I'll do question 2 at the end. When you hear this story in your language, how does it make you feel? Does it give you any emotions? Okay, question 3. What thing do you like the most about this story? Question 4 at the end. Is there something confusing or something you do not like in this story? Question 5. Is there a part of this story you think other people may not like? All right, and then question 6. Is there anything else about this story you want to discuss? I think I'll add this second piece as in the lesson plan. Lesson plan gives an alternate question, but I'll just add it as a second piece. And feel free to give us any final comments that you'd like to make about this translation. All right, so that completes the 6 questions at the end, the general ones. So I'll hit submit. That finishes the flag. And so now I'm ready to finish the whole process. I mentioned that the community check setup is a place where teams that are just learning often make the mistake of clicking this finished button too soon. So just be aware of that, and as a trainer, make sure the teams don't go near this button until they really have finished all the questions and all the flags. All right, here we go. Following Render's usual practice, it gives us the opportunity to review our work before we're completely finished. So we can play these questions. So here's the first question on the first flag. What do you think all people, young and old, will think about this story? Actually, I made a mistake. That was the third question. The highlighted tab here is the third. I'll click the first tab, and now we'll play the first question on that first flag. Does this sound like something that really happened or not? Okay, audio sounds clear. How do you feel about the way the voice is used in our language? All right, and so in this way you could go through all the flags and all the questions just to make sure everything sounds like it should. We'll just click finished here because of time. All right, and that's the community check setup. Looks like it goes fast, but the process of trying to turn those questions into something that works in the mother tongue will take you a lot of time. This is probably the hardest part of the workshop outside of the first 2 days. Community check setup day is very hard because creating good questions in any language is difficult, and even it might not be the right instrument to use to get information. You may discover that you have to create statements instead of questions, like, please tell me what you think about this passage. Something like that. All right, enough for now. Bye.